So earlier this week on the Ultimate Cav Show, Jason and I did a new segment called Good Cav, Bad Cav. Essentially, good cop, bad cop. We took a side. We argued for it. And it came up in the discussion whether or not the Cavs are playing good defense or the Magic's offense is just that bad. And they've missed that many shots. And Jason made the point, and the Wheel of Fate determined he was going to be the bad Cav on this one, that the defense has been fine, but Orlando just can't buy an open shot. And the numbers do back that up. But then, Jason, I went through and I was looking. I wasn't sure if the shots the Cavs were allowing Orlando to take were by design or just a functionality of their offense and then just missing. So are the Cavs allowing and forcing, not forcing, but are they giving up and living with Orlando taking open shots? Or is it good defense and Orlando's running their offense properly, just not executing with the finish of a shot? And Jason, I went back and looked at some film. And I think you're wrong on this one. I thought you were wrong in the moment, and I think you're even more wrong now.
All right. Wow.
Got a couple examples I'm going to show you guys. This is all from Game 2 of some elite defensive efforts from the Cavs. 5 guys moving in unison, executing their defensive assignments almost to a T to how JB Bickerstaff wanted. JB Bickerstaff and his staff deserve credit for preparing their team and preparing the 5 guys on the court to play in unison like this. So this is a possession. There's no spotlight, Steve. You take this whenever you're ready. You can't play defense better than the Cavs did on this particular possession. The ball goes out. Great help side. It's going to flash around. Paolo drives. You got a good closeout from Karras. Cole Anthony shot. That's not considered an open shot. That's not one of the ones NBA.com tracks as a quote-unquote open shot. But look at the movement of 5 guys creating chaos, hands in passing lanes. There's not an opening for Orlando to attack from. And I don't think you could ask for a better defensive effort from 5 guys than on this one particular play. Jason, I want to let you to comment before we move on to the next one, but that's about picture-perfect defense.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, let's let it play one more time. There's like 4 guys in the paint almost that entire possession. Why?
Because they don't think
Because they can't shoot. Because there's no threat. If they had competent shooting on the outside and they had guys that they feared, I don't know that you would see 3-4 guys standing in the paint. But to Mike's point, they're playing terrific.
They're doing that on purpose.
Yeah, they're packing the paint and they're giving up the perimeter. But Orlando doesn't have the perimeter threats to scare them, which is what allows them to do that.
100% agree. And that's what I'm saying. I think the execution defensively, their game plan is to let Orlando shoot.
If I said the Cavs weren't playing well defensively, then that's a mistake on my part. My whole point is Orlando doesn't have the – I think I said this. I wrote it, I know, the other day. There is no shooter on Orlando that the Cavs fear. None. Not one.
That's a fact.
So that allows them to pack this paint, give up the perimeter. And if these guys want to shoot from the outside and they make them, the Cavs are going to live with that because the odds, the law of percentages is on their side that they're going to miss way more than they make even on those wide open shots. So that's what's allowing them to pack the paint. I do think the Cavs are playing well defensively. You say that.
Yeah.
I just think the lack of threat on the perimeter allows the Cavs to play this style and allows them to really tie up the interior.
It's going to be interesting, assuming they make it to the next round because Magic are probably, correct me if I'm wrong, the Magic are probably the only team in the playoffs that you can do this to, right?
Not necessarily, but they are the worst shooting team in the playoffs.
Who else could you do it with?
You can pick and choose your battles against Milwaukee outside of Dame. I don't think any of those guys truly scare you as a threat, but
he ain't playing. Settle down.
When's he supposed to be back, by the way, Giannis?
Next series.
If they make it.
Stop it.
Without him, they're a sure thing?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
All right, so here's the second play. To Jason's point, I do think this is defensively designed. And they've been going under every screen, essentially asking Orlando to shoot the ball. This play's going to rotate a couple times. Jason, we talk about individual defense. We talk about giving up shots that you want them to shoot.
Yeah.
When this replays again from the get-go, the Cavs go under on the screen, and it's going to leave Jalen Suggs open on the top.
So explain under on the screen because I think a lot of people probably don't know what that means.
When it goes back, I'll explain it again. But watch this individual defense from Jared Allen. This is the effort that you need from your center on a point guard.
Yep.
Now, Max Strus gets out of position here. Franz Wagner gets a backdoor cut. But there is Evan Mobley sagging in the paint, waiting exactly for that situation.
So see how Evan runs behind Donovan on that. That's going under the screen. It's when you don't fight, when you don't try and stay with your guy and go over the screen or when you go behind him. and it's essentially giving them a 3-point shot because you're trying to cut off the drive.
Did Mobley block that shot?
He contested. He didn't block
All right, because it looked like Wagner had a good look at the basket there, no?
It's a decent look, but you're trying to shoot over Evan Mobley, who's number-wise is one of the best rim protectors in the NBA.
You'll take that as the Cavs.
You go under on Paolo because you're not scared about Paolo shooting the pull-up three.
Right.
But here's the real impressive part. Jared Allen recovering, staying in front of Jalen Suggs on 2 separate occasions, and then having the defense in the paint to collapse. This is exactly what you ask for. And once again, that's a ton of space. Suggs is Mitchell's guy. Mitchell then goes to the corner, recover, picks up Allen's guy. Jarrett cuts off the drive, cuts off the second drive. Max Strus can't get caught looking here. He's got to sag back, play a little more on the shooter. But there's Evan, perfect help position.
Evan's there to clean it up.
That is
That's
a perfect
his job.
defensive possession from the Cavs and what they're trying to force. All right, let's go to the next one, Steve. We'll keep moving. The Cavs are going to go under again here. This time it's Karis LeVert going under. They're trying to keep George Niang on Paolo Banchero. Watch Isaac Okoro on the bottom of the screen. We're going to spot shadow this in a sec. Great defense, and that's a hell of a steal from Isaac Okoro coming from his weak side help. LeVert goes under. That allows him to stay on the ball handler. They're not worried about the stop and shot from Jalen Suggs. Niang funnels Paolo to the baseline. There's not a lot of room to work there. Jared Allen's perfect help position. He's stuck. Isaac says, give me that. I'm going the other way. He ends up finishing for an and-one layup. Once again, the Cavs are packing the paint, forcing and begging Orlando to try and shoot the ball. Orlando can't make shots, and the other 4 guys in the perfect help position recovering, moving as one unit. You can afford to allow them to shoot if the guys on the weak side are going to cut off passing lanes and help. Because if Okoro's not there, it's a wide-open 3 for Joe Ingles.
Right.
Because Isaac's there, that's 2 points the other way for Cleveland. Jason?
Joe Ingles would have missed that shot anyway.
Well, I'm watching Orlando try and balance the floor, and it looks like they're having problems even
they're a mess.
properly balancing the floor. I mean, I again, if I said the Cavs were playing badly defensively, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
I just think it's the way that Orlando is structured offensively and their personnel allows the Cavs to do this. But to your point about playing great defense, they're playing great.
And for the record, the Wheel of Fate gave Jason the bad Cav on that option. So he was forced to that.
This was also a bad decision. No, shouldn't he have hit the guy coming to him? I don't know who that is, but.
Hit who?
Let's watch it again. You're saying Paolo when he tries to kick across court. The shot clock's running.
There's somebody that runs up the sideline there.
He's doubled. You mean the guy coming down the lane?
No. After this. Now, he's cutting towards that sideline. That guy, he should have passed it to that guy. No?
You have we're talking about Wendell Carter Jr. there.
I can't
Number 34,
Yeah.
Wendell Carter.
You have no angle there, Bull.
Yeah, that's
he's
a turnover.
That is exactly where you want to force any offensive player. If you get an offensive player to pick up his dribble in that spot, the defense wins 100 out of 100 times. Let's go to the next clip, Steve. We got 2 more here. This was just a great overall team defensive effort. Check out the effort from Darius Garland, by the way. Screen, it's a switch. He gets caught out of position. He goes back, finds his guy. The Cavs rotating around, cut off the drive. Once again, Jared Allen on Jalen Suggs forces a turnover. There's Donovan for the steal, and this ends up with a end-of-shot clock chuck from Paolo Banchero. The Cavs as a unit are moving in unison right now. We've shown 4 different possessions. You find me an open angle. You find me something. You find me some area for Orlando to attack. It doesn't exist right now. That's partly because their personnel is not capable of beating Cleveland's defenders off the dribble. It's partly because they don't have the personnel to force Cleveland not to back the paint and beat them with threes. But it's also a testament and a kudos to the Cavs for executing a defensive game plan to perfection through 2 games. Yeah. And these are just 4 plays. I could have picked 40 more from the first 2 games that dictate and show the same kind of defensive effort in unison.
And this will travel on the road. Like what he's showing here,
sure,
that'll play the same because obviously Orlando's personnel is the same. Now, again, they are leaving some shooters open, and if those go in at home that weren't falling on the road, that's how Orlando comes back to win.
And we talked about going under, right? The Cavs are going under every screen in this series. You can do that if the other team can't shoot. If the team can shoot, it's scary going under, which we'll see in Steve the next clip when you want to take it. The Magic tried going under Darius Garland a couple times.
Yep.
And this is real quick. This is a real quick play. You go under, it leaves an open pull-up 3. Darius in the third quarter specifically took advantage of it. Donovan's taken advantage of it a few times. Now, they tried setting the screen a little lower, so when they go under, you're stepping right into a 3. They've run a lot of their offense from higher up in the half-court set to create more space when they're switching and they're dropping. But once the Cavs realized the Magic were comfortable going under on Darius Garland, I'll show you another play in 1 sec, That's an easy read for Darius. A very easy read for Darius. And what he just did on this play is what Orlando is incapable of doing on the other end of the court.
Hey, do you have, sorry to throw a curve, if the answer is no, that's all right. Do you have the clip that you showed during our podcast of how they were starting the offense so high up with the two of them? Because I thought that was really telling.
I'll get to, not exactly, but I have a different one. Steve, let's go to the next one real quick. So that was the first three from Darius Garland. This is in the fourth quarter. This is such a smart play by Darius. Joe Ingles is the worst defender on the court, right? There's probably 9 good defenders on the court, and Joe Ingles is the worst one on Orlando. When he comes off this screen, he sees that Joe Ingles is standing there to cut off the passing lane. He doesn't force it. He's patient. He forces Joe Ingles to try and catch him on the perimeter.
Yep.
That ain't going to happen. It's a great screen by Isaac Okoro when you watch it again. He forces Cole Anthony, who's chasing him here, to take a bad route to essentially go under this screen. And at this point, it's one-on-one with Joe Ingles. Darius, he's maybe not make every shot, but that's exactly the aggressiveness and the right matchup, to attack coming off this screen.
And that's just a read and react on Darius's part.
Correct.
Is that Cole Anthony, you said?
Yeah, Cole Anthony. This is not Jalen Suggs.
Wasn't
Cole
that
Anthony
kind of a
chasing.
lazy? I'm like, couldn't he have gotten to Darius quicker? He didn't look like he's working that hard there.
Watch the screen again. Isaac gets him with a pretty good screen.
Yeah.
He stumbles, but their coverage in this part of the game was to go under. So if you watch his angle, he takes like a banana cut. Isaac gets him with a good screen. That's a body on body.
Is that a moving pick?
They're all a little bit moving.
Yeah.
He ends up going under Joe Ingles because he expects Joe to force him out, fan him out to the sideline. Joe is not quick enough to keep him there. And by the time he recovers, it's an open look for Darius. So that's how they did it. Now in the fourth quarter, the last play I want to show you guys. Steve, take the next one. Orlando started switching everything in the fourth quarter. Now this was the third. They utilized this more in the fourth. And when they started switching everything, they had more success at keeping the Cavs out of the paint. The Cavs are going to end up scoring on this possession. And Darius is going to make a nice play with the shot clock running out here. He's going to drive baseline and find Jared Allen, who makes a really nice flash and finish. But they had more success switching than they did trying to go under, and I'd expect to see that more today.
Yep.
They switch. Paolo guards Darius up top. He's playing close enough to deter the shot attempt, big enough to deter the drive. Suggs on Strus. That's a tough matchup for the Cavs. It's not going to be that exact same cross matchup every time, but this is more of an individual really good play by Darius and Jarrett to create a good look. I would expect to see a lot more traps, a lot more switches tonight from Orlando in Game 3.
And the danger with that is you're switching a small onto, like, after Evan made those early threes, Orlando was switching, and they had a lot of times they ended up with a guard on Evan in the post, and that's when Evan went to work inside the post after he hit those early threes. So if you can get Evan on a guard or Jarrett on a guard, you can get a lot of inside looks, which is obviously helpful when the other team can't make threes.
Nice job, Mike. Excellent
And
breakdown.
by the way, if you haven't watched our Cavs podcast, that's all Mike does. It's all film. Like, he does an unbelievable
film breakdown
job.
nerd. I love it.
He is like, no, this is no BS. He is the best basketball mind in Cleveland.